Imagine this. You walk into a cafe you've never visited before. You look around. The smell of fresh coffee fills the air. Someone laughs in the corner. A spoon falls onto the floor. A waiter walks past carrying 2 cups. Then, you suddenly stop. Your heart skips a beat. Because somehow, every single detail feels familiar. Not just familiar. It feels as though you've already lived this exact moment before. Every sound, every movement, every face. But that's impossible, isn't it? So why does your brain sometimes convince you that something completely new has already happened? Welcome to one of the strangest mysteries of the human mind. That strange experience has a name: déjà vu. It's a French phrase that simply means already seen. It's one of the most common mysterious experiences humans have. In fact, researchers estimate that around 2 out of every 3 people will experience déjà vu at least once in their lifetime. It usually lasts only a few seconds. Yet, during those few seconds, it feels incredibly convincing. Some people describe it as if they're remembering a forgotten memory. Others feel as though they're predicting the future. And some even wonder whether they've somehow lived that exact moment in another life. But despite how mysterious it feels, science has been trying to explain this phenomenon for decades. And while researchers have uncovered fascinating clues, the complete answer still remains out of reach. To understand déjà vu, we first need to understand something incredible. Your brain is arguably the most powerful information processing system in the known universe. Every single second, it processes millions of pieces of information. The light entering your eyes, the sounds reaching your ears, the texture beneath your feet, the smell in the air, your balance, your emotions, your memories. And somehow, it combines all of this into one seamless experience that we call reality. Most of the time, this process is flawless. But imagine opening the same photograph twice on your phone without realizing it. The second time you see it, your brain immediately recognizes it as something familiar. Some neuroscientists believe something similar may briefly happen inside the brain during déjà vu. Not because your brain is broken, but because even the world's most advanced computer can occasionally process information in unexpected ways. One of the leading scientific explanations is known as the processing delay theory. Imagine 2 identical messages leaving the same place, but taking 2 slightly different routes. Normally, both arrive at the same destination at almost exactly the same time. Now imagine one route is delayed by just a tiny fraction of a second. When the second message finally arrives, the destination mistakenly believes it has already received it before. Some researchers think this is exactly what may happen inside the brain. Information from your surroundings may briefly travel through slightly different neural pathways. One signal arrives just milliseconds before the other. By the time the second signal arrives, your brain interprets it as something it has already experienced. The result? An overwhelming feeling that you've lived the moment before, even though you're experiencing it for the very first time. It's a tiny delay, but your brain may transform it into one of the strangest feelings you'll ever experience. In other words, you're not remembering the moment. You're simply experiencing it in a way that tricks your memory into believing it's already happened. It's an incredibly small delay, yet it can create one of the strangest sensations you'll ever experience. But here's the problem. Not every scientist agrees that this theory explains every case of déjà vu. Which brings us to another fascinating possibility. Imagine walking into a hotel lobby you've never visited before. You've never seen the building. You've never met the people inside. Yet somehow, it feels oddly familiar. Why? According to another popular theory, your brain may be making connections without you even realizing it. Perhaps the layout of the room resembles a place you visited years ago. Maybe the lighting reminds you of your childhood home, Or perhaps the smell in the air resembles a restaurant you've completely forgotten. Your conscious mind doesn't notice these tiny similarities, but your subconscious does. Within milliseconds, your brain compares what you're seeing with thousands of stored memories. If enough tiny details match, it creates a powerful feeling of familiarity, even though you can't explain where that feeling comes from. It's almost as if your brain is saying, "I've seen something like this before," not because you've lived this exact moment, but because pieces of it remind your brain of moments from your past. It's another reminder of just how incredibly powerful and mysterious human memory really is. Now here's where the mystery becomes even more interesting. Scientists didn't just study déjà vu by asking people questions. They also observed it during certain medical procedures. In some patients being treated for epilepsy, doctors carefully stimulated a region of the brain known as the temporal lobe. This area plays a major role in memory, recognition, and processing everyday experiences. Surprisingly, some patients immediately reported an intense feeling of déjà vu. They felt as though they had already lived the exact moment they were experiencing, even though they knew they hadn't. This was one of the strongest clues scientists had ever found. It suggested that déjà vu isn't magic, it isn't evidence of seeing the future, and it isn't proof of a past life. Instead, it appears to be deeply connected to the way our brains organize memories and recognize familiar experiences. But even this discovery raises new questions. If scientists can trigger déjà vu in some situations, why does it happen naturally in perfectly healthy people? The answer: we still don't know. The human brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons. Each one communicates with thousands of others, forming a network so complex that it remains one of the greatest scientific challenges of our time. We've mapped the human genome. We've landed spacecraft on distant planets. We've built machines capable of incredible intelligence. Yet the organ inside our own heads still holds countless unanswered questions. Déjà vu reminds us of something important. Not every mystery has been solved. Sometimes, the most fascinating mysteries aren't hidden deep in space. They're happening inside us, every single day. So, the next time you suddenly feel that strange sensation, the feeling that you've lived a moment before, remember this: your brain isn't necessarily predicting the future. It isn't replaying a forgotten life. Most likely, it's revealing just how extraordinary the human mind truly is. A tiny moment, lasting only a few seconds, yet reminding us that science still has mysteries left to solve. Here at Rare Explained, that's exactly what we love exploring, because every mystery has a story, every question leads to discovery, and every answer begins with curiosity. If you enjoyed today's journey into one of the brain's greatest mysteries, subscribe to Rare Explained, Curiosity, Simplified.